family photographs began changing while still hanging on people's walls. The first person to notice thought someone was playing a prank. A framed vacation photo showed a stranger standing near the edge of a beach. The stranger had not been there when the picture was taken. At least, nobody remembered seeing him. The family assumed the image had always looked that way, until they found an older print of the same photograph stored in a drawer. The beach was identical. The lighting matched perfectly. Every family member stood in the same position. Only the stranger was missing. The incident might have remained an isolated curiosity if similar reports had not started appearing elsewhere. People posted comparisons online. Old photographs beside newer versions of the same photographs. The differences were subtle at first. An unfamiliar face in the background. A person standing behind a crowd. Someone watching from the far end of a hallway. None of the additions looked edited. They appeared naturally integrated into the scene, as though they had always belonged there. The phenomenon spread slowly over the following months. Most reports involved printed photographs rather than digital files. Pictures displayed in homes, framed wedding photos, graduation portraits, family vacations. The changes almost always appeared overnight. People would go to bed looking at one image and wake up looking at another. Experts dismissed the claims immediately. Printing errors, false memories, internet hoaxes, reasonable explanations. Then a university archivist uploaded evidence that complicated everything. He had been digitizing historical photographs for a local museum when he noticed discrepancies between archived scans and the physical originals. At first, he assumed files had been mislabeled. After reviewing dozens of images, a pattern emerged. The physical photographs contained people who did not appear in the scans, made only weeks earlier. One image attracted particular attention. The photograph showed a school class from 1987. 23 students, one teacher. Every archived version matched that count. The physical print hanging inside the museum did not. A 25th person now stood in the back row. Nobody recognized him. His face appeared slightly blurred, despite every other student remaining perfectly clear. Former classmates were contacted. Several visited the museum in person. According to statements later posted online, nobody could identify the additional student. Yet something disturbed them more. The longer they looked at the photograph, the more familiar he seemed. People described the sensation differently. A forgotten neighbor, a distant cousin, someone from another school. The certainty never lasted. Only the feeling remained. Interest in the phenomenon exploded after a journalist began collecting reports. Within 6 months, she had documented more than 200 cases across several countries. The details varied. The stranger's appearance changed. The location changed. The photographs changed. One feature remained remarkably consistent. The added person was always looking toward the camera, not smiling, not posing. Watching. A retired couple provided one of the most widely discussed examples. They owned a framed photograph taken during a camping trip in the late 1990s. When the image changed, an unfamiliar man appeared standing among trees behind their tent. The discovery itself was unsettling. What happened afterward drew far more attention. 3 weeks later, the man appeared again in a different photograph hanging elsewhere in the house. This time he stood closer. People initially dismissed the comparison. Perspective differences, coincidence, pareidolia. The couple continued documenting changes. The third photograph placed him near the edge of a family gathering. The fourth positioned him directly behind a group of relatives. The fifth showed him standing only a few feet from the camera. The sequence spread rapidly online. For many observers, it was the first report that felt impossible to explain away. Then investigators noticed another pattern. The stranger did not seem to move randomly. Across multiple households, photographs appeared to update in chronological order. Older pictures changed first. Recent photographs changed later. The added figure seemed to progress through people's lives, year by year, moment by moment, getting closer each time. The implications frightened many of those documenting the phenomenon, especially after several families reported discovering modified photographs that had been stored in sealed boxes for decades. Images nobody had viewed in years. Pictures hidden inside attics. Albums locked away in storage units. The changes appeared regardless. A former police evidence technician contributed another strange account. While cataloging archived property recovered from an abandoned house, he found a family photo album dating back nearly 40 years. Every image contained the same unknown individual. Birthdays, holidays, school events. The person appeared throughout the album. Nobody in the photographs seemed aware of his presence. The technician attempted identifying family members. Most were still alive. Several agreed to interviews. None recognized the stranger. One woman became visibly distressed after reviewing the images. According to the technician's notes, she repeatedly pointed toward the final photograph in the album. The image had been taken inside a hospital room. Family members surrounded a bed. The stranger stood nearest the camera. Unlike the earlier photographs, he was no longer looking at the lens. He appeared to be looking directly out of the photograph itself. The woman ended the interview shortly afterward. Interest intensified again when professional conservators began reporting physical changes to photographs under controlled storage conditions. Images sealed inside climate-regulated archives showed the same anomalies. Locked display cases offered no protection. Neither did digital backups. The physical prints continued changing. One museum employee reportedly photographed a display every evening before closing. For 11 nights, nothing happened. On the 12th night, an unfamiliar figure appeared in one of the images. The display case had remained locked throughout the entire period. No signs of tampering were found. The photograph itself tested authentic. Researchers never reached a consensus explanation. Theories multiplied. Collective false memory, chemical degradation, mass suggestion. None fully accounted for the reports. The most disturbing stories emerged from people who continued monitoring affected photographs for years. Many claimed the added individuals eventually stopped appearing in the background. They began appearing beside family members, then among them, then in positions that should have been impossible. One report described a wedding photograph updating repeatedly over a 6-year period. The final version reportedly showed the stranger occupying the place where the groom had originally been standing. The groom himself was gone. The image disappeared from public discussion shortly after being shared. No verified copy remains available today. Most stories surrounding the phenomenon have faded over time. The photographs remain. Many are still hanging in living rooms, hallways, bedrooms, quietly unchanged, or at least appearing unchanged. Because according to people who claim the updates never stopped, the most important difference is not who appears in the photographs. It's who eventually disappears from them.